What's going on, guys? This is Coach Sean from A1 Fitness here for today's webinar. The 3 ways to boost your energy and lose weight sustainably. So great stuff on having you here, guys. All right, really appreciate you hopping in to this webinar, and really just would just basically love to acknowledge you all, obviously, for taking this time, and for obviously sitting down for this hour with me and just going through a couple of different things that I share inside of my program that I'm going to be sharing with for completely free for you guys, and I'm really excited to be going through that with you. So first things first, let me just go through what I'm going to be talking about with you today. So we're going to be talking about fueling your body correctly for maximum amounts of energy. Then I'm going to head into some of the habits that you need to master to live a healthy lifestyle. And then I'm going to talk about building a winner's mindset. So what do I mean by a winner's mindset? Okay, so we're going to go into so much detail there, and I'm really looking forward to doing that. So first of all, as we get to it, think to yourself really why you're here today. Write down in your journal or in your notes, wherever you're making your notes today, and ask yourself why you're here today and what's the main reason that you're looking for getting results in your health and fitness journey, or what brought you to this video today. And of course, then also make a note to yourself, what's the main thing out of what I just went through here that you're interested in learning today? And of course, share that with me, guys. Would love you to send me a message or to send me an email once you view this webinar, and with any other ways that you're looking for help in. When it comes to your health and fitness, I'm able to help you. So just let me know if there's anything I can do. And as I say, you can shoot me a message or send me an email. So a little bit about me first. So just a little go through my story. So I'm just going to share a little bit about me. You can see the pictures here from a couple of years back, and then obviously now. So before I started my fitness journey, all I wanted to do was to feel more comfortable in myself and actually like the person that I saw in the mirror. So the world was telling me, it's okay, just be happy with who you are on the inside and you'll shine on the outside. God forbid, I heard that so many times, but I just couldn't take that. Inside, I didn't feel like anything, and I didn't feel like anyone loved me, and that everyone was judging me for how I looked. I was overweight, anxious, such low self-confidence. It was insane. But then it happened. The relationship I was in and relied on to make me feel better completely fell apart. I then realized that I need to be responsible for me and that no one else is going to make me feel better. I need to be happy being me. And I wasn't, and I needed to take care of it. So after weeks of talking about it, I finally started a health and nutrition program with one of my colleagues from work at the time. I continued to go week after week. And yeah, don't get me wrong, it was really hard. It was hard. And some weeks were good, some weeks were not so good. But I kept on showing up, and I kept on staying consistent with it. And after 4 months, I'd lost over 15 kilos. And within 2 years, I had lost twice that. So in total, 30 kilos. I'm obviously now in a much better place mentally and physically. I feel comfortable in myself, and the feeling of anxiousness and depressing thoughts about myself have gone away as well. I now help other people achieve similar goals through their health and fitness, and want to see everyone in the world live their best life by understanding nutrition and how important other aspects such as your mindset can help you achieve more than you can ever imagine. So that's all about me. So let's head into this webinar. So let's talk about energy. Okay. So first, we're going to talk about ways to increase our energy that I currently use myself and that I teach to others inside of my program as well. So why do we lack energy? So our body literally makes energy using the foods we eat. So unless we fuel our bodies correctly, you're going to notice the effects big time. Okay, so think about it this way. If you have a petrol car, you're only going to want to put petrol in it, right? You're going to put diesel. Otherwise, if you put diesel in it, we all know what happens. Bad engine, it's not going to run properly, and it's probably just going to shut down altogether. And when it comes to our body, with just like putting the wrong fuel in, if you're putting all of this cheaper, highly processed, highly refined, sugary and fatty like fuel or foods into our body, it's going to do the exact same. It's going to make you feel tired. It's going to make you feel sluggish, and your body is not going to operate at optimum levels. So you have to be putting in the correct fuel. So one of the answers to what we should actually be putting in our bodies to fuel it correctly is quite simple, but it's not always the easiest option. And that is natural whole foods. So what are whole foods? So you've probably heard the word whole food literally just being thrown around. It's such like a popular word, just goes here, there, and everywhere. But how many of us actually know what a whole food is? Okay, and it's super easy. Okay, so whole foods are really, really easy to explain. They are literally just foods in their most natural or wholest form. So think about apple versus applesauce. So you have your apple, which is your whole apple, and you got applesauce, which is like obviously crushed down apple and pureed, mixed in with all of this other stuff to make it nice and sweet and into that applesauce. Okay. And so anything that has something added to it that changes its original form is not a whole food, and it would be a processed food. So think of basically, unfortunately, most of the stuff that you see down the middle aisles of the supermarket are a lot of them can be your processed stuff, and all of the stuff around the outskirts of your supermarket, like your fruit, your vegetables, your milk and all that sort of stuff down the other side, like that's more your whole food side. And then all down the middle is where the processed foods like to hang out. And again, by consuming a lot of these processed foods, you will constantly feel sluggish and low in energy. And the reason that that happens is because your body has to work so much harder to actually find the nutrients it needs to fuel your body correctly. So I'm going to go through a couple of different examples of like whole foods, and when it comes to each of the different macronutrients, obviously, which is protein, carbs, and fats. Okay, but we're going to launch into protein first. So protein is one of the most important macronutrients in our diet. Without it in each meal, we won't feel full and we won't feel satisfied. Okay, so as you can see here on the screen, we want to talk about prioritizing fresh, lean, minimally processed, like I'm talking about, sources of protein, and consider limiting red meat to 18 ounces or 4 pounds per week or less. All right, again, this is depending, on your body stats, on your gender, and on what your actual goals are. But let's just talk about the protein in particular. So on the left here, you can see you want to be eating more of, your eggs, your fish, your lean meats, all that type of stuff. Then when we get to our middle, eat some, you have some cottage cheese, you have some tofu, you have some edamame beans, amazing. And then for eating less, you have all your highly processed stuff. You have your fried chicken, your chicken nuggets, chicken fingers, like processed soy, all those sort of, processed burgers, like all that type of stuff. You want to be staying away from them as much as possible and staying more in this eat more section. So when you're on a weight loss journey, this is also one of the main food groups that you must ensure that you eat enough of, because as I mentioned before, this is what helps you keep you fuller for longer, and it actually keeps you satisfied versus a high carb diet, which unfortunately doesn't. Think about it this way, right? When you go into McDonald's, let's say, and you buy a meal, all right, what happens an hour later after you've eaten it? You feel hungry. That's because the food is so processed and it's so carb heavy. You're just leaving there and like you've put nothing substantial into your body. It's not nutrient dense at all. There's hardly any real nutrients in it. And so therefore, there's not any protein that will keep you full and keep you satisfied. All right, so getting your protein right, again, depending on your gender, body stats, and fitness goals, is super, super important. And sticking to your minimally processed sources of protein, like I mentioned here, is just as important as well. So if you want to see how much protein you should be having in your daily intake, in conjunction obviously with your goals, you can shoot me a message. You can head over to my social media and enter in your stats in my precision nutrition calculator. Or as I say, you can send me a message, send me an email with your details, and I'd be more than happy to do that for you free of charge as well. No problem. So moving forward onto carbohydrates, guys. All right, so we all know what our three main macronutrients are now. Okay, but carbohydrates are equally as important as well. So they're basically what gives us energy. Okay, so anyone who tells you to completely cut them out of your diet, as I've heard so many fad diets say to do, don't take that advice. All right, carbohydrates gives you energy, and so they are an important part of your daily intake. And it's crazy to think that you shouldn't be having them, because without them, you're really not, again, going to be firing on all cylinders. All right. So yes, you're not going to have as much as, other macronutrients, but they definitely need to be a part of your diet as well. Okay. And at times, of course, you can minimize them or increase them depending on what your goals are. So just to go over here to some examples of our whole food sources of carbs. Okay, again, on the left hand side, we have eat more. So it has, some of our quinoa, it has different sort of things as well, like our potatoes, and then our eat some, we're going down into, our granola and sort of your little bit processed cereal type things. And then you have your eat less, so into your, very highly processed, we got loads of different things here. So we have our sugar, just sugar in general. All these simple carbs, guys, are, the stuff that we buy in shops. So we buy in the petrol stations that are all in the counter. They're just very, very simple carbs, very, very high in sugar, and stuff we should be trying to minimize as much as possible. All right. They are highly processed, and we need to be sticking to the left-hand side here of the eat more section. So what is important is as you've already heard me talk about, is the types of carbs. Okay, so what I mean is, obviously, yes, sticking to your whole food carbs, but make sure that you're having a lot more, like, grains, and, as I say, minimally processed ones, complex carbs, you might hear them be called, and sticking away again from those simple, highly processed and fatty carbs, which is all what's on the left hand side of the screen there. Okay, so moving on to our next one, guys. All right, we got fats. Again, really, really important to ensure that our body moves correctly, our joints are strong, and fat, getting in our healthy fats is so good for our body in many other different ways as well. So it's not really the best to have as much, than protein or carbs when it comes to losing weight, but it's definitely, again, something that needs to be incorporated into your daily intake. And again, depending on what your goals are, the amount might be more, the amount might be less. All right, depending if you're, doing a weight loss program or a weight gain or muscle building program. So focusing on your healthy fats, like your avocado and your olive oil here on the left hand side. All right, and staying away from your bacon, and your vegetable oils on the right hand side is something that we should be aiming for as well. And I'm going to talk about it a little bit later, guys, but really sort of just so I can, put in a little inkling here, is this isn't something that has to be done all the time. Okay, what I like to talk about is having that 80-20 rule, where 80% of the time we can stick to what's in our general sort of plan here with our amount of proteins, carbs, and fats. And 20%, guys, just go and enjoy your life. Do you know what I mean? We're all here to enjoy life and live our best life and live the healthiest life. So by focusing on all of this good stuff 80% of the time, and the not so good stuff, not having too much and keeping that to 20, you're going to see awesome results inside of whatever fitness goals you may have. Okay, so just wanted to pop that in there, and I'll talk about it a little bit more later. So sticking to whole foods, guys, stick to that 80-20 rule, as I said. Okay, when we're shopping for whole foods as well, all right, we want to be thinking of keeping it simple. All right, keeping it simple and keeping it sustainable. That's what it's all about. So when you're shopping, the general rule of thumb that I like to have is, if it's more than 5 ingredients, all right, it's more than likely highly processed. All right, so keep it to less than 5 ingredients. Obviously, have a look what's in the nutrition label as well. Everything there you recognize is like a whole food in any ingredients, great. But what I've found from my own experience is most things, when it comes to over 5 ingredients, is when they start adding the chemicals, the preservatives, all the fake sugars, all that type of stuff that aren't going to be good for optimizing our body and keeping us in really, really good condition. Okay, so a major example that when I started my fitness journey that I had to cut out straight away because I was having so much of it because it was highly processed was pasta sauces. All right, so think about your ragu, your dolmio, the tomato ones that you just shove into the pasta for a nice healthy meal, right? These are so highly processed. All right, so much sugar. You got so much like different fats and everything in them as well. They contain lots of different preservatives, and they should be kept away from as much as possible. Okay, so again, looking at the ingredients, you'll see that there's a lot more than 5 ingredients in these pasta sauces, so it's something that you don't need to be having as much as possible. And so what you can do is make your own. All right, super easy. Okay, tin tomatoes, passata, which is just obviously, crushed down tomatoes and spices and salt and pepper and stuff like that. And guys, you'll be able to make an awesome, awesome pasta sauce, and it will taste better, it will be better, and more than likely, it will be cheaper as well than buying that pasta sauce that you usually just get down in the supermarket. Okay, so literally your body, and in most cases your wallet, will thank you later. All right, and you can thank me for that as well. Okay, so we've jumped into a little bit about our macronutrients and our protein and everything, and sort of what's required in order to keep our energy up. So I've discussed that with you, how whole foods can help with fueling your body correctly and increasing your energy. And next, I'm going to go through some of the habits you should look at concentrating on to keep your energy levels high, because that's what it's all about, guys. All right, and this super, super busy, life and environment that we're all living in nowadays, we need to make sure that we're firing on all cylinders and the energy is nice and high, whether it's, you're taking care of your kids, you're at work, you got so much different things going on. We need to have our energy firing all the time. All right, it needs to be super high, and this is so important, in order for us all to do that, to live our best life. And so the first of the habits that you should be concentrating on is your water intake. Okay, so a couple of things to note here about why water is so vital to ensuring our body is performing at peak levels. So as you can see here, 60% of our body is made up of water. I know, cool. We all know that one by now, right? But did you also know that over 70% of your brain is made up of water? Okay, so if you're not having enough water and you're not hydrating your brain, that means that you're going to be prone to headaches, you're going to be prone to brain fog, you're going to be like lack of concentration, all of that stuff, guys, where you feel that you might be getting overwhelmed or you're forgetting stuff. Like, that's all down to hydration as well. All right, when I found this out and I started taking the steps to having more water, massive changes, guys, massive changes in the way I think, massive changes in the way I feel. Okay, and unfortunately nowadays most of us aren't getting enough water, and so literally you should be starting off minimum 2 liters of water per day. All right, minimum. Okay, so usually that recommended sort of 8 glasses type thing that we see when we Google it is perfectly fine. All right, perfectly fine when you're not exercising, just the normal, getting your 2 liters in. Obviously, if we can push it to 3, amazing. And I'm going to show you why now in a second. Okay. Okay, so why water is so important. Okay, so guys, if you haven't figured it out already, water is obviously super, super important for not just our body, but now I've mentioned our mind as well. Okay, so people can lose 1 to 2% of their body weight very, very quickly when it comes to exercising. All right, especially when you're in a hot, humid environment. Okay, so super important to not just be getting in water when you're just going through your normal day, but also that you're drinking extra when you're exercising, especially if it's hot. Okay, so when you're in that type of environment, that's going to like raise your heart rate. When you're at the gym, it's going to raise your body temperature, and it's going to obviously increase your perception of effort. Okay, so when you're thinking any type of training, all right, whether it's weight training, aerobic stuff like cycling, running, and walking, it's also going to slow you down when you're doing that as well. Okay, so if you find that you don't have any water with you and you're doing like a walk or you're doing a run, you're going to slow down if you're not constantly hydrated, guys. Okay, because as you can see here, our bodies are used for producing blood, sweat, and tears. Okay, all of that good stuff. And as you see here, regulating our body temperature as well. And a really key one as well, especially for women, is helping your body make hormones. Okay, not just for women, everyone really. All right, so what if you're not getting in enough water? It's going to reduce the body's performance at making those hormones that are really, really important for your body to get. So literally, guys, again, ensuring that you have the correct amount of water for your body and mind to function correctly each day is, I would probably say, more or less the most important thing for having high levels of energy, for sure. Okay, so when you're exercising, we've already talked about the 2 liters being recommended for like a normal day. So in addition to the liter of water that you get from food, you should be aiming to consume at least 3 liters of water on the days that you exercise. So that's nearly doubling it. That's nearly making it like 3 or 4, depending on the type of workout that you've done. Okay, so aiming for 2 to 3 on a normal day, and then 3 to 4 on a day when you exercise is definitely what's recommended. And I would you want to be making sure that you're hitting every single day. So again, not just that you're hydrated and your body is, your body is good. As I say, your mind is going to be good from all of this as well. So it's really, really important. And just to hit this home, guys, I'm just going to quickly show you, this blew my mind when I saw this. Okay, so this is how our pee should actually look. Okay, so if you can see here on the left hand side of the screen, this is where you're well hydrated. All right, but I remember, like, oh my God, like on the right hand side of the screen, you can see here you're severely hydrated. When I was working in hospitality, like I was front office manager and duty manager, I was just going here, there, and everywhere. Like literally might get a couple of glasses of water in while I was on shift, but most of the time it was just all go, 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 making sure everyone's taken care of, making sure the restaurant's taken care of, bars taken care of. And I just wasn't having any water. So literally, I would say it was probably hitting between the second in from the right and the third in from the right. And when I learned about what I should actually be getting in order to keep my body and my brain hydrated, when it should be down in the second from the first really, and but I now keep to the second or the third. Okay, I don't really want to be going more than, into the middle here where it says it's time to hydrate. I want to be sticking to the left hand side of the screen. All right, and so when you're there, you just need to be drinking according to thirst. Okay, when you're getting to that dehydrated time, you want to be drinking about 1 to 2 glasses of water. Okay, and then as you can see here, if you're severely hydrated, get a liter into you straight away. Okay. All right, guys, that's water. All right, taking you through all that, as you can see, super, super important. Okay, and I'm gonna, of course, just talk about some simple ways that you can make to ensure you're getting enough water. So set a daily goal. Okay, set a daily goal for yourself. So I like to have, like a habit tracker. And there's so many that you can get nowadays. It's super easy. You just set yourself a goal for, like, say 8, 10, 12 glasses of water. Every time you get a glass in, tick it off. Okay, and that's your goal. You stick to that. You don't break the chain. All right, you want to be following that every day, getting that done. All right, really, really important. Second thing, keeping a reusable water bottle with you guys. Okay, really, really easy to do. They are available absolutely everywhere. So, you've no excuse not to get one. All right, keeps it really easy, and it's good for the environment, obviously, as well, if you have a reusable bottle. Set reminders. All right, so on your phone, obviously, use your alarms, use your calendar, whatever sort of thing you use for your reminders, start using that. And again, if it's like, what I would recommend is, I've already mentioned it here below. So you want to have 1 glass of water in the morning. Okay, you want to have a glass of water before each meal as well. And depending on your meal times, I'd be setting sort of alarms for like 9, 12, 3, and 6, just to make sure that you're having enough water. So most of them will correspond with your meal times, give or take. Maybe there's one sort of later in the afternoon that you want to make sure you're getting in, because sitting there between 12 and 6 with no water isn't too good. And then obviously you want to be making sure that you're having something like water as well a couple of hours before bed. And I mentioned as well, replacing other drinks with water. So, if you're watching this and you're having quite a lot of like fizzy drinks, coffee, energy drinks, all that type of stuff, guys, work on replacing them with water, because not only is all the stuff in the fizzy drinks like really, really high in sugar and really, really high in processed, like we mentioned before, which isn't going to be helping your body, but also these things don't really keep to hydrate you either. All right, great if there's some of the stuff obviously that's out there on the market with electrolytes, all that sort of stuff, that's awesome. But most of the time when it's the fizzy drinks and the energy drinks, all that type of stuff, like all that stuff is just complete shit. So you don't want to be putting that inside your body. So start replacing those with water. Okay. Okay, so guys, as you can hear, super passionate about getting all the water in. All right, next, I'm super passionate obviously about sleep. Okay, and I want to talk about that as well. Because really it's very, very important for keeping our energy levels up, that we talk about those Z's and we actually get those right amount of Z's that we should be getting in. Okay, so as much as most people would like to say that they'll sleep when they're dead, unfortunately, guys, I'm here to tell you that not sleeping enough is a surefire way to getting there quicker. Okay, it really, really is. So I remember, again, when I was in my hospitality job, I was doing nights, I was doing lates, then I'd be doing early the next day. Like when I had my sort of days off, like I didn't really, rest and recover. I was always like out drinking and stuff like that. And I hardly slept. I didn't give my body any time to like actually rest and recover from everything that I was doing. And obviously, as you can see from my, pictures a couple of years ago before I started my journey, it was made a massive effect on my body. All right. And of course, it made a massive effect for me mentally too. Okay. Really, really does. So make sure, that we're getting the right amount of sleep, because yes, it's going to affect your energy, but also it's going to affect a lot of other different things, guys. Okay. So it's going to affect such things like it's going to lower your sex drive. Okay. So both men and women, like if you haven't got something that's hit you in the face to, go and get more sleep, there you go. All right. It's going to lower your sex drive. Like none of us want that to happen. Okay. So you got to make sure that you're getting the right amount of sleep. Super important at this time, obviously, with the last 2 years, with COVID and everything like that. If you're not sleeping enough, guys, your immune system is not going to function properly. Okay. So you want to make sure that you're getting the right amount of sleep so that your immune system can rest, recover, rebuild, and do all that good stuff that is actually done when you're in deep sleep. All right. So it really, really needs to be done. And again, concentration issues. It can lead to, you know the feeling when you're sort of not enough sleep and you're in work the next day. All of a sudden you get to the afternoon and start getting tired, start lacking concentration, and then you remembered, oh, I actually only had 4 hours sleep last night. There's your answer. Okay, there's your answer. All right, you need to be getting a little bit more sleep to make sure that your energy level and your concentration is staying up. Because guys, look at it this way: if that doesn't happen, all right, and you lose your concentration and you're not able to function properly in work, what does that mean? Or you could lose your job. What does losing your job mean? You might have a source of income. All right. So these are really, really big things that if you can start to improve now, all right, they're going to provide so much benefits for you in not just the long term, but in the short term as well. Okay. You're going to have, as I say, improved concentration, much better energy, much more improved sex drive, and you're going to have a much, much stronger immune system. Okay. And you're going to be in much better condition as well, because when it comes to weight loss, sleep is also really important as well, because a lot of our digestion stuff, our digestive functionalities, and when it comes to muscle growth and recovery, that is all most important when we sleep. Like we don't build muscle while we're actually working out, right? We don't. Okay. We only build muscle after we've done the workout and we've recovered from it. And when we've recovered from it and we have enough protein in our diet and we're giving ourselves enough time to recover, that's when our muscles grow. All right. So super, super important that we get that right amount of sleep to make sure that we're recovered and well rested and in good shape. So if I haven't already mentioned so many different things about why sleep is important, and deep sleep especially. So ways to actually get more sleep. Okay. So when you're not used to getting, when you're not used to sleeping the recommended amount of sleep, it can be really quite hard, to actually start, getting it done. And sort of, I've given you a couple of ideas here that I found useful myself when I was starting out for, setting yourself up for sleep success. So remembering that by getting, more sleep is obviously the goal. Okay. So we got many different things here. And as one of my favorites, I would say, is, digital detox before bed. Definitely. Okay. So helpful with getting down to sleep nowadays with, screens, phones, YouTube, Netflix, all of that type of stuff. It's very, very easy to just be in our bedrooms and just flicking on our phones or watching Netflix on our computer till midnight. I get it. All right. I get it. But you need to draw that line. Okay. You need to say to yourself that in order for me to have good sleep, I need to be decreasing my screen time, because all that screen time is doing, it's emitting blue lights, guys. Okay. Which in a large amount is not good for us. Okay. It does do some good stuff as well, but in a large amount, when we're getting ready for sleep, all right, we can't be having a lot of it. Okay. So we need to decrease our blue light time. So give yourself about an hour, all right, to do a digital detox before bed. Do something different, like set your workout clothes maybe up for the next day, set your work clothes out, set loads of different things. Like I mentioned here as well, you can have some herbal tea to help you with going to sleep as well. Chamomile obviously is what I'd recommend, and just having that wind down time. Okay, we all deserve to have that right wind down time for bed in order for us to sleep better. So important. Okay. So guys, that's really all of the stuff when it comes to, increasing your energy. Not all of the stuff, but what I wanted to share with you inside here. There's so many more things I could go in and I could talk about, but we'd literally be here for hours. So where I wanted to move to next is, not there's when it comes to obviously losing weight sustainably and increasing your energy, it's not just about the nutrition plan, like the habits and the exercise. Okay. It's really, really important to actually have the right mindset as well. Okay. Really, really important. And don't get me wrong, I know that there's some like great nutrition plans out there, great exercise plans, but really, guys, if you don't have your mindset like correct, it doesn't really matter what else you do. Okay. It really, really doesn't. So just to dive into a couple of things on this. All right. So we all have that voice in our head that's telling you now, oh, it's okay. We don't have to work out today. It's all good. Give yourself some excuse. All right. In order to not work out. And like, that's called our ego. Okay. I'm just going to say it straight out right now. And that's a good thing. All right. It's designed to keep us safe and comfortable. Okay. But in order for us to have the right mindset to lose weight, keep our energy increased, and to live a happier and healthier life, you need to learn how to use your ego to your advantage. Okay. You really, really do. And of course, I'm going to break that down for you all here now in some different ways. So as I say, your ego is good. Okay. In order to succeed in your health and fitness journey, you need to learn how to use it to your advantage. So when it comes to the ego, all right, so the inner critic or the ego will always appear if you're on the edge and doing something that will change your life. Okay. Always, always, always. All right. When I'm, about to sort of go up the next level, when it comes to like when I'm out for a run, there's always that critic inside of me that says, "Oh, just stop now. You've already got far enough." All right. It's always going to be there. And then on the other side, what we want to really be leaning into more is our creator side, which is the dreamer. Okay. So that's that loud voice that's optimistic and it loves all the possibilities. It loves all the expansion. And it's the one that shouts out going more, 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 more. Okay. And that's good. Okay. That's good. Obviously, when more comes down to stuff that is good for you, not the stuff that's bad. So as we can see here, there's so many different things of when it comes to critic and creator, but really thinking about a couple of different things that may come up for you guys. Critic is the I shoulds or the I have tos. All right, that's our critic speaking. And then we have our creator, which is I wonder or I get to. Massive, massive difference there that we need to be bringing into have the right mindset is listening to that creator and not that critic. Another example of, in our critic mode would be criticism. Okay, so whether that's, criticizing yourself, all right, or criticizing other people, like that's critic and we don't want to do that. Okay. And when it's creator, we're appreciating. Okay. So we're appreciating other people for where they're at. We're appreciating ourselves, all of that sort of good stuff. Okay. And then another one for the creator is excitement, happiness, everything like that, expansiveness, all of that. And then critic is that fearful, that one that's holding you back from all those goals that you set yourself when you were a bit younger. And maybe just as you got older, you started saying to yourself, "Oh, I don't need to do that anymore because of so what reasons." All of that is coming from your ego, and all of that is fear and is holding you back to the best things that you could possibly get in your life. Okay, it really, really is. So getting through and listening to that ego, listening to the creator or the dreamer, getting that ego out, taking advantage and using it to your advantage is so, so important, guys. Okay. So, so important. Okay. So guys, go with having the right mindset as well. Okay. Just going through so many different things. So we also got to talk about building a winner's mindset as well. Okay. So as I mentioned at the start of, the last few slides there, you can have the perfect workout routine and you can have the best diet plan. But again, if your head is not in the right place and you're listening to that ego, you won't succeed. Okay. So a couple of different ways to build a winner's mindset. All right. In order to succeed is done by shifting your mindset from always seeing the negatives, which unfortunately a lot of us do, to looking for the positives in every situation. Okay. Literally, when I started making these changes into my life, it was a massive game changer. Massive, massive, massive. Like, don't get me wrong, I got quite a good few results at the start when it came down to just, losing weight with just my nutrition and just my exercise plan, for sure. But then I hit a plateau. And then when I was able to get stronger mentally, I excelled and went exactly where I wanted to go and further, really. So need to be getting that correct. So a couple of different things we want to be looking at. So we want to be seeing failures as feedback. Okay. So many people stop doing what they're doing because they failed. Okay. Failure, or, something going wrong, is not the end of the world, guys. Okay. It's not the end of the world. It really, really isn't. Whether it's, you got an injury or something like that, and all of a sudden you've just thrown everything out the window and say, oh, well, just something wrong with my body, I can't do anything now. Like, that's not true. It just means you have to go and do something different. Okay. So seeing failures as feedback. All right. So feedback for what doesn't work. So obviously you don't want to be keeping on doing the same thing over and over again, because that's not working, because that's just the definition of insanity. So you want to make sure that you're taking these things that weren't working, using them as feedback to move forward into what you actually want to be doing and where you want to go. Okay. You need to be kind to yourself, guys. Okay. So many of us talk about ourselves so negatively inside of our heads. Okay. Like a mini exercise I'd love for everyone to do is write down all of the things that you say to yourself, and then go to your best friend and say all of them. Do you know what I mean? Like, you would not like say the things in your head to your best friend. So why are you saying them to yourself? All right. Celebrating the wins is another massive mind shift change as well, guys. Okay. Celebrating all these little wins along the way. Okay. There's going to be so many different things, whether it's down to, your energy on a certain day, sticking with, your whole foods and your meal plan, getting your exercise or getting your walk in. All of these little things are really, really important milestones for you to celebrate all of the time. Okay. And not thinking about what you didn't do, okay, is so important as well. Okay, really, really is. So celebrating the wins and not thinking too much about what you didn't do is something that you need to change as well. Okay, so stop feeling the shame and guilt around that, guys. Stop feeling the shame and guilt around what you didn't do and start celebrating the wins. Massive one that I had to come across as well, guys, and incorporate in. Sometimes I do find this hard myself, don't get me wrong, is focus on what you have done and how far you have come so far. Okay, literally the only person that you should be comparing yourself to is the person that you were yesterday, no one else. All right, so that person on social media that you're looking at and you're saying that I'd love to be that person, they don't matter. Okay, the only person that matters is the person that you were yesterday and whether you're better than them today. All right, you always want to be going 1% at a time, always moving forward, always moving 1% better every day to the person that you were yesterday. And of course, last one here is being around like-minded people. Okay, so if you want to build a winner's mindset, be around like-minded people. Find a community of people, whether it's a gym, whether it's a online community, another like sports team or anything like that. All of these people are obviously like-minded people and enjoy the same things you do. So hang around with them more. Okay, and it'll also help keep you accountable as well to the things that you like to do in order to make sure that you're staying on top of it as well. Okay, so really, really some awesome ways there, guys, that of things that I've incorporated and that I teach other people to do when it comes to building winners mindset so that you can achieve your health and fitness goals. Okay, super, super important. Okay, so obviously with building a winner's mindset, I'd also like to touch on another couple of must knows to ensure that you're moving in the right direction. Okay, because as much as building winner's mindset is great and all, there's a lot of different things to it and it's going to take time. Okay, and some of these things that I'm going to mention here is stuff that's going to take longer, but it's going to get you actual sustainable results, and that's what I'm here to talk about inside of this webinar. So the first thing, guys, okay, is focusing on consistency rather than intensity. Okay, so to lose weight sustainably, you do not need to be working out 24/7. Okay, you don't need to be doing all these, fat busting exercises that we see on YouTube every day. You really, really don't. Okay, so or like every couple of days. The main key is being consistent. Okay. And really, that is how you're going to get the best results. Okay. It's not what you do every so often, but more of what you do each day. Okay. So when it comes to that, the key is find something you actually enjoy. Okay. I hear so many people that, when they're starting a fitness journey, they're doing all these exercises that they don't enjoy. And then, do you know what? They end up stopping and they end up maybe going backwards. And it doesn't work out well. Okay. It just doesn't. So make sure that you're enjoying it and that you're saying to yourself that you're able to be consistent with it. And you need to stop worrying about being so intense with it all the time as well. Okay. Because staying consistent with it long term is much more effective than a 2-hour hardcore gym session once or twice a week. Okay. So with this as well, guys, we need to be making sure that constant progression and a variety of workouts as you get fitter and stronger is incorporated into these as well. Okay. So for example, if you like running, okay, that's great. If you sort of start with like, a 2K, but then as you get better, 2K is going to be easy. All right. Then you got to make sure that you move up to 3K. Once that becomes easy, move up to 4, move up to 5. There is no point in staying on what's comfortable to get results, because that's not this. It doesn't work that way. All right. So as you get fitter, it's going to be a lot easier to do 2.5 than it was a couple of weeks ago. So you got to move up. Same with weights. Okay. So you always got to be progressing up in weight as well, or reps or range, one or the other. Okay. So when it comes to weights, you want to make sure that, if you're feeling stronger after a couple of weeks, you're moving the weights up a couple of kilos. Okay. Or maybe if you're working on your mobility, you want to be working on your range a little bit more, especially when it comes to like lower body stuff and mobility and stability. Awesome. Work on that range more. Okay. So, and then the last one will be working on, depending if you're doing a cardio exercises, you can work on your speed as well. Okay. So all of this sort of stuff can be done to make sure that you're being consistent with it rather than intense. And it's super, super important to look at this as a major factor for building a winner's mindset in the long term as well. Okay. So next, another massive one. All right. Key distinction is imperfect action is better than no action. Okay. They are literally always going to be days. There are always going to be days when you are more dedicated to your goals than others, right? I am, my partner Danielle is, and that's okay. All right. It's completely normal. All right. This happens to all of us. All right. It's never going to be perfect every day, but it's on those days when you don't want to, or you feel that you don't have time to, that literally anything is better than nothing. Okay. Go out there, get a short walk in. Okay. So just to share a story about my own journey, a big thing that came up for me was everything had to be right. Okay. In order for me to actually get the best results. Okay. I felt, and maybe this is the way that you're feeling as well right now. So this is why I wanted to share. So I felt in order to start, I needed to have more free time. I needed to know more. I needed to wait until this was done before I could commit. And you know what? You just got to start and you just got to take messy action. Okay. There's going to be no perfect time. Okay. Imperfect action is better than no action all day, every day, no matter what anyone tells you. Okay. It doesn't need to be right. It just needs to be done. All right. And then you can obviously hone it and make it better along the way. But the main thing is getting it done. Okay. So examples of this, if you don't have time to go for your hour walk, do a half an hour. All right. Depending on your schedule, do 15 minutes. All right. So you're still fitting that half an hour in twice. All right. If you have loads of different things on during the day. If you like wake up late or something like that, or your schedule has changed, you don't have time for your full workout, that's okay. All right. Pick your 2 favorite exercises or 2 exercises from the routine and do 1 to 3 sets of them. Much, much better than doing nothing at all. All right. And your body will thank you for it later as well. All right. And again, to finish this off, something is always better than nothing, guys. Remember that. Something is always better than nothing. So in this webinar, you've heard a lot, heard me talk quite a lot about habits, healthy habits that you need to master to lose your weight sustainably, to, get results in your fitness journey and to increase your energy, right? And so I thought, what better way to, as we're coming towards the end of this webinar, than explaining why I think that establishing healthy habits are the only way to get sustainable long-term results and why you should too. So a habit is something you're able to do on autopilot or perform without thinking. Okay, that's what a habit is. All right, a simple habit that we all know is brushing our teeth every day. All right, simple habit that we all have ingrained into us from more or less we're really, really young. Okay, so you wouldn't leave the house without doing it. Even if you're running late, you'd always find time to brush your teeth. All right, even if it's in the shower. Okay, and so like brushing our teeth, healthy habits, our other healthy habits around exercise, nutrition, water, all of that good stuff for our mindset needs to be ingrained into us, just like brushing our teeth. Okay, just like it. And it's a lot easier than you may think. Okay, really, really is. So how you actually build these habits for long-term success. Okay, so I like to have a few main ways to do this. All right, a couple of ways have worked for me. I've tried other ways as well, and I've learned most of them, and I obviously use these teachings as well from James Clear and his book Atomic Habits. All right, so some of the stuff that you're about to hear, you may have already heard from there, and if you haven't already listened or bought his book, go out and do it now. Okay, go out and do it now. James Clear, Atomic Habits. Okay, the main principles that I like when it comes to Atomic Habits that I'm going to speak about is making it fun, making it easy, and stackable. Okay, or habit stacking is the way he calls it in the book. Okay, so habits don't have to be hard to be successful. They can be really, really easy. Okay, so when they're easy and when they're fun, you'll actually start to enjoy the process, and you'll actually carry out the habits as well as actually remember the habits. Okay, because like for some of us, we might just forget them depending on the day. They just completely go out the window. Okay, so for me, because I've set them as easy, fun, and I've stacked them, I've also trained my brain so that it knows what to expect next without me having to think about it. Okay, really, really cool way of doing things. All right, so a couple of different examples. You could, brush your teeth, and then once you brush your teeth, you go and get your workout done. All right, then once you get your workout done, you go and have your shower. Again, that's an easy habit that we all do. So brush your teeth, easy, one that we already have. Workout, maybe one that you need to start incorporating in. So you put it after an easy one. So you will make that more memorable by having it after that one. Then you're going to go have your shower. Again, something that you do all the time. And then you're going to have another one where it's like, have a healthy smoothie maybe, okay? Or meditate for 5 minutes, okay? Again, you've stacked it on top of those previous habits, all right? And you're going to make them fun as well by tracking them, okay? A great way of making this fun is rewarding ourselves by using a habit tracker, and that adds the fun aspect to it. Think about it, all right? When you do something and you either mark it as done and you get like a hooray or like a tick and all this type of good stuff that happens when you get stuff off your to-do list, it releases dopamine. It releases all those good, happy feelings, and you want that to be happening all of the time, okay? Because in order for you to do these habits, you need to enjoy them. And so you need that dopamine release. And so it's really, really important that over the long term, you're using a habit tracker as much as possible as well. Now, obviously, using a habit tracker is another habit as well. So it doesn't have to be super, super complicated. Okay. So again, just keep it nice and easy, something you can quickly do on your phone. All right. But again, really, really important that the end of the habit that you're doing is finished with marking the habit as done. Okay, really, really, really important. And then to finish on making it easy. All right, again, gonna drop in something here that's gonna be awesome for you guys. Okay, so making it easy. You want to start with a 2-minute ritual. Okay, something super easy, obviously, that will set you off. So maybe it's something that you'll see that will set you off to go and do that habit. All right, so again, what James Clear talks about is having a 2-minute ritual. For example, getting your workout clothes the night before, so that when you wake up, it's easier and you don't have to think about it, and your brain doesn't have time to make an excuse not to do it, which happens to all of us, myself included. Okay. Another example of a simple ritual I'd often do is leave out my breakfast stuff the night before. Okay, leave out all the ingredients so that when my brain sometimes goes, oh, we'll just have something else, like or maybe we'll just go out for breakfast, like the stuff is already there. Okay, so the decision is already made because when breakfast is already out on the table, all right, on the kitchen counter. All right, so do these when it's part of your bedtime routine. So again, if you've got that extra time now from your digital detox, these are all types of rituals that you can set up in advance the night before when you're doing your digital detox and you're doing your wind down time before bed, which I spoke about before. And yeah, whew, that was a lot of stuff. Okay, really, really, really good. So, team, we've gone through quite a lot today. Okay, we've talked about, you know, the ways that habits that are and then the actual habits that you need to incorporate to maximize energy and live a healthier lifestyle and lose weight sustainably. We've talked about nutrition, we've talked a little bit about training, and we've also established that the mindset and the nutrition are much more important than the perfect exercise routines for maximum results. Okay, so as you can see here, you know, that's where you want to be getting the maximum results. You got your training, you got your nutrition, you got your mindset. That perfect little middle in your Venn diagram is where you're going to get the maximum results. You need to incorporate all three. If you don't have one, you're not going to get the maximum results. All right, end of. So hopefully by now, guys, you're seeing, you know, that it can be a lot easier than you think it is to lead a healthier and more energetic life once you know all the ingredients that go into it. Okay, and of course, when you become more aware of your habits and mindset, it makes it a lot easier as well. Okay, so just to, you know, go from here, what now? Okay, so I've taken you through all the habits, you know, that you're able to incorporate to increase your energy. You know, we've talked about whole foods and how fueling your body correctly is so important to make sure that you're firing on all cylinders, and that, you know, you're, you know, sticking to a nice healthy sort of balance and with your body weight. And if you are on a weight loss journey, that will help you get there as well. We've spoken about mindset and how building a winner's mindset will help you reach your goals in your health and fitness journey. But what now? Okay, so I really want to tell you about an opportunity to allow you to dive into the step-by-step journey in order to take you to your end goal in your health and fitness journey. Okay, so I'm like, depending on whatever your goal is, so that you aren't just trying to figure it all out by yourself, and instead you're getting into action, which is so important, and then you're getting the feedback on what works and what doesn't work. Okay, and as well, you're getting some insights and pro strategies on how to move past those mind shift blocks along the way. So the A1 Elite Club, guys, all right, my signature program, the A1 Elite Club, is designed to help highly driven professionals skyrocket their energy levels so that they can become the best version of themselves in all areas of their life. Okay, and yes, you can still eat your favorite foods. You can still have your favorite glass of wine. You can still go out and you can enjoy dinner with friends. Because, guys, my program isn't about restricting you from what you love. It's about achieving sustainable results. Like I mentioned, 80-20, okay? And it's not like most, you know, quick fixes out there, other quick fixes and other fad diets that you can get, all right, where you're just going to get short-term results and maybe no results at all. All right, I'm here to get you sustainable long-term results and teach you the habits to get you there. Okay, and look, this isn't about making your busy lifestyles even more hectic. I get it. All right, we all have a lot going on right now. Okay, but as I say, there is no perfect time to start a health and fitness journey. Okay, there isn't. All right, it's about prioritizing your time and managing your time to make sure that you are taken care of, so that you can give your best self to your family, to your friends, to everyone around you, and that you can live your best life. Okay, and so important, all right, that you have that energy to be your best in work. You have that energy to spend the best time with your kids. You have that energy to be your best self for your partner. You have that energy to do everything in life that you want to do, and without saying I'm tired or my body's sore or I can't do that because I'm overweight. That won't happen anymore. Okay, so this literally won't just only be a benefit for you, but it will have a ripple effect on your family, your friends, your co-workers, and even strangers in the street. Okay, because when we are content and happy in ourselves on the inside, it will show on the outside. So this is for you if you're ready to learn the success habits required to increase your energy and live a healthier lifestyle. You know it's time to stop jumping from diet to diet and actually learn what is required to fuel your body correctly. you want to use practical, simple, and easy to follow methods and habits to obtain the best results for your health and fitness journey. And you want to learn optimal and peak performance and health and wisdom from someone who has gone through their own journey. That's this guy. So when you join us, you get a customized training plan, you get a personalized nutrition program, one-to-one coaching and support, weekly live training, exclusive resources, an awesome community of like-minded people, and master optimal health strategies that I, trial. If I like them and if they're working, I pass them on to you guys. So the investment, guys, is $3,997. Okay, the program is 12 weeks. Okay, and it's starting from next Monday. All right, so if you're ready and if you are looking to achieve your health and fitness goals and actually learn the habits required to get there and not just the simple quick fixes, I can help you get there. Okay, I really can. So if wherever you're seeing this, make sure that you drop me a message. Okay, you can drop me a message on Facebook or on LinkedIn, or you can send me an email, sean@a1fitnessnz.com or a1fitnessnz@gmail.com. I would love to speak with you. I would love to help you get to your goals that you're looking to achieve. And thank you very much as well for coming into this webinar, checking it out, sitting with me right until the end. And I'm really looking forward to speaking to you very soon. So have a great morning, evening, afternoon, wherever you are. And I'll leave you to it. Take it easy.